Yesterday, well, let me start thanking you for inviting me. I'm really honored, and I'm pleased. As you mentioned, I have been a number of times to Mexico, and a number of times to now, and of course this year. Unfortunately, I haven't been to Mexico City for a long time. And I haven't been here for a long time, and the city has changed tremendously, and it has changed for the better. But one thing has not changed. I'm so glad to report that. I can report that Margarita at San Angel Inn is still as good now as it was 15 and 20 years ago. I hope it never changes. Yesterday, Dr. Rodriguez started these proceedings with mentioning, among others, various attributes of quality that are present in assessing, judging of information resources and information services. Well, he anticipated my presentation. I'm going to talk about quality of information. But he also mentioned that the quality has changed in the digital world. And that's exactly what I'm going to talk about. It's the consideration of quality of library information services in the network. Yes, many of our quality criteria has remained same as our values, library information values, for centuries. But many criteria, by necessity, has changed, as they always change, with the changes in technology. Here's the table of contents. I'll talk a little bit in the beginning about the components of quality and give some definitions. Then I'll talk about general problems of quality in the web. The largest part of my presentation are the information quality metrics and information service quality metrics, in which I will introduce and discuss some of the notion of usability. I'll briefly mention methods, although yesterday we already had a long presentation about methods. And then, of course, there'll be some. The two components of quality. We all know that. Sometimes I'd like to stress that because we make a big difference when we talk about attributes of those. One is the quality of information, and the other one is the quality of information service. Think of restaurants. You go to a restaurant, you do judge that restaurant on the quality of food, and you also judge the restaurant on the quality of services that you receive. Both have to be present, but both are quite different. And I make that difference in relation to information. There's an interaction between these two. That's the reason why I have arrows. And there will always be interaction the same way that there is interaction in the restaurant, between food and service. So, when we talk about quality of information, we're basically talking about content. When we talk about quality of information services, nowadays, network world, we are talking about usability, basically. So we have these two components the content and usability of the concept that you have access to. But what about the user? User doesn't care. Both of those completely blend. For the user goes, and the service that the user receives can either help the user or hinder the user. Each of us have been on various sites that you receive, aha, and then you also receive and polite. But when you go wrong, you don't have to. The users are not. And most of the time, when we use services, they are alone. That's a big, big difference between how the libraries are used in the past and how the libraries and library services are used now. So, here are some definitions. What do we mean by quality of information? Here is our pragmatic definition, and yesterday already you heard that pragmatic definition is the fitness for use of the information provided. And that is the key concept. Is the fitness for use. And I think that the notion of fitness of use is as good as any elaborate definition of quality, and there are quite a few that exist around. More formally, we can define the quality of information as the measure of the value which the information provides to the user of that information. And the key concept here, the absolute key concept, is value to the user, not value to the library. Of course, there is a value to the library. There is a value to the university. There is a value to the museum, whatever. But in the end, today we are considering the quality of what is the value to the user. And that has great implications. On the web, we need both. We need quality of information, and we need quality of information services. But when the user, when you, goes to the web, we also know quite well that web information is, well, I don't have a better explanation, better term, it's fuzzy. The databases sometimes are good, sometimes are fuzzy. When we go to web sources, the type of sources will immense. Always you have to go to Library of Congress, for instance, on one hand, and then go to my own university library, and you are going to two different worlds. Go to Library of Congress and go to Europeana. The structures are immense. And for each user, not only for each professional, but for each user, this presents a problem. Another aspect of the web is constantly changing. Not only changing, but constantly disappearing also. Well, today on the web, that doesn't mean you're going to find it tomorrow. Plus, and this is a very mild statement, the web is value neutral. It contains a excellence, good stuff, but it also contains trash. It contains truth, and it contains lies. It contains information, it also contains misinformation. You name it. You have experiences with all of that. So, with taking all these considerations, it does cause a problem for both the libraries, which include what services we provide, and even more so for the users. But it provides also the security of the libraries, and I'll get that again. The opportunity is that the libraries judge of what's valuable, what's not, and they do include in their sites something that has been judged ahead of time, and that's today on the web. Today on the web, that is a huge addition. So, what's the solution to that problem? One of them is that we try to have some standardized methods by which we describe, recognize, and test quality. We do it in some common way. That we provide a mechanism for a more precise definition of quality. And that we have now made many efforts around the world in which this was a plan, provide a mechanism to describe quality. We have a lot of literature about quality in library and information services. Most of the literature discusses quality. Very few articles have data. So there have been many efforts, but we also have to recognize that we still have to go a long way in our field, nationally and globally, to address this issue. So, in a way, what we have okay, let's now go to the price, that is the meat of my lecture. Yesterday, two of the speakers quoted a very, very famous quote of Lord Calvin. You can't improve it if you can't measure. In a way, Lord Calvin was right. In a way, he was very wrong. There are many things that you measure and then improve. But there are also very many things that have been improved without measurement before. Well, think of libraries. Great many improvements over centuries have been done without anybody going and measuring something before that. Well, think of Steve Jobs. Quite a few of you have something that came out of his mind and out of Apple. Steve Jobs never measured anything, but he improved the way we communicate. Consider, you know what was his major inspiration? It wasn't science. When he was young, he went to India to study Buddhism. And he stayed a lifelong And practitioner, but believer, even practitioner Buddhist. And most of his inspirations came out of Buddhist types of thinking. And that is as far above Calvin and measure as you can possibly do. So, what we have here is that the quality should be observable, not necessarily measurable. Observable could be quantitatively. And yesterday we had some marvelous examples of presentations that showed you data about scientific applications. One from Semabo, the other from Brazil. And it is really something that is measurable and it shows the quality. But there are other aspects that are observable. Quality should be quantifiable, but it should be also comparable. And it should be tested. What these observation, quantification, and so on are done by use of methods. What do I mean by methods? These are parameters or measures. Quantitative assessment used for measuring comparison of geographic performance. Please cross this or add to this measures of quantitative or qualitative subjective assessment. It turns out that overwhelming number of quality assessments in our thinking are subjective. They're not where somebody puts a number, but somebody puts a judgment. The number there could be done with basis. Okay. The first part, I will talk about quality of information. How to describe and measure. And looking at the literature as well as some of my own studies, I'm suggesting that there are 4 categories. Each category has subcategories. You see of quality. One is intrinsic. These are the internal characteristics of information. Intrinsic. That's intrinsic. The other one is context. This is relational. So the user's task, no matter the hand. The third one is representation. Relation to the user. The fourth one is access. Provisions that are provided. These categories are not cast in stone. You'll find authors that have similar, somewhat different categories. But in generally, what I'm suggesting here is the type of stuff those people, you, professionals, should worry about when they talk and deal and assess quality. Okay, 4 categories. I'll talk about each of them now. What do we assess when we talk intrinsic quality? These are internal characteristics of information that is given. It's given in information itself. And usually the first one that we try to determine is authority. Who did it? Who wrote that article? What's the authority? What's the credibility? Where did it come from? What's the reputation of that particular source or that particular author? The second one
La segunda,
can be verified.
que sea algo que se pueda verificar.
Can we
Podemos
assess
nosotros evaluar
that this is indeed so?
que esto, de hecho, es así. Se puede verificar.
I remember myself going to the bank.
Me recuerdo también eso.
I have many.
Con el dolor
So,
de
where
la
do you
espalda
go?
de cintura. Entonces,
So I found a doctor that promises that my
yo me encuentro con un doctor que me promete la cura que va a hacer desaparecer mi dolor.
sent $50.
Mándeme usted $50.
You know. And you started saying, who is this
Y
guy?
entonces me empieza a decir, bueno, ¿quién es este
Authority,
doctor?
you know.
¿Qué autoridad
Each of us
tiene?
has similar experience.
Cada uno de nosotros
Not
tiene
saying,
experiencias similares.
Objectivity.
Is
it trustworthy? Is there a bias? Sometimes
Hay
you
el
want bias.
consenso tal
But
vez
you should
a veces
recognize
no,
that there is a bias.
pero debemos poder reconocer
Of course, I want to
que hay
know
un sesgo.
what
Y
either
claro,
Democrats
saber
or Republicans in the United States are saying. Of course they are biased, but I
lo
want
que
to know
dicen
what they're
los
saying.
demócratas o republicanos en Estados Unidos, claro que van a tener un sesgo.
Is there a
Yo
prejudice?
quiero saber cuál es ese sesgo, qué es lo que está
Is there
diciendo.
partiality?
Hay prejuicio.
And then the essential thing that yesterday was talked
Lo
about
esencial que mencionamos
is the
ayer,
validity and reliability
la validez
of information.
de la información.
You can do me a favor. William, you can do me a favor. Take a picture of me while I'm doing this presentation. Sit down when you have time. Sorry about the interruption, but that's important. Okay. Second is context.
Lo segundo es el contexto.
First we talk about it. Now we are talking every
Primero
information
hablamos de información. Ahora estamos hablando
that is asked
de
is
toda
asked
la
in the
información
context.
que se pide
There is no such
en el
thing
contexto.
as information without context. When
No
it-
existe la información
This is
sin
amazing.
contexto.
You know, when I ask information about that, how do you translate it? Anyhow. Oh, it's the same. So I speak Spanish. Anyhow, it was the context of my question. So, one of the categories, the methods is relevance. How is it related to the topic of the The second is appropriate. Yes, go ahead. I have to change microphone? I love my microphone. This one is not working? Okay. This is better? Oh, I'm sorry, I apologize.
Discúlpenme por no haberme dado cuenta que
Technology presentation sometimes. You know,
las presentaciones no van de la mano. En una
they
de las
accept
presentaciones
should have slides.
no hay colgar,
I have no
entonces nos
slides.
decían, usted
So
tiene que
then I
traer
introduced,
diapositivas.
I have invisible slides.
Entonces tenía yo
And then I started reading,
y
and
empecé a leer
the audience looked at
el
this.
público.
This is good.
Y esto es
One of the
verdad,
meetings.
eso sucedió en una de las reuniones de crisis.
And one of the participants,
Y uno de los
a friend of mine, said,
participantes
Tefko, said, what? There is a misspelling unto these are invisible slides. The other is timeliness. Is it current?
Oportunidad. Hay que ver la oportunidad, la actualidad de la información.
The third one is comprehensive. And
Y el
for
último
certain
es
information,
el grado de
you want
comprensión.
to have comprehensive.
Queremos que
If you're a
sea
doctoral student, you
entendible.
certainly want to have
Precisamos,
comprehensive.
estudiantes de un
But
doctorado
if you
queremos que se
want to have just an answer to a question,
simplemente quiere una
you know, where is
respuesta
Taj
a
Mahal?
una pregunta que hace el Taj
You
Mahal.
still have to have a context. You can have two answers. One
Puede
is
ser dos.
it's in India, and the other one is it's down the street. So
Uno
that's
es en India o el otro
depends on
es
the
un
context.
restaurante
And all what you
de
want is
Depende
what
del
information?
contexto. Usted solamente está
not
buscando
the
información
whole thing.
y no está buscando
So,
contexto.
when you're looking at a context,
Cuando
you're looking at the appropriateness within the task or matter at hand.
de lo
And
apropiado que es
For many
a la
systems, this
tarea
is
que
extremely
tenemos.
different.
Para
And
muchos
yesterday
esto es
we had
muy
an
difícil.
example
Ayer vimos un
in
ejemplo
which they are trying to
en que
find out algorithmic
están
ways
tratando de
by
encontrar
which context can be assessed.
mediante los
Google
cuales se
is
pueda
putting
evaluar el
tremendous amounts
contexto.
of effort
Google está trabajando
to build in ways by
para
which users
integrar maneras en que el
So
usuario
far,
pueda
frankly, we have
encontrar
not been
en su
successful.
búsqueda. Hasta ahora no hemos logrado grandes éxitos.
Representation. Now we are talking about the level, the need of the
Y
user.
esto tiene que ver con el nivel y necesidad del usuario.
How it's organized?
Cómo es organizado,
Is it presented in a logical
si
coherent
se
manner?
presenta de
How
manera
suitable?
lógica y
Well, to
coherente.
give you an example,
¿Qué tan apto
an
es?
information
Les
system
voy a dar
that is geared
un ejemplo. Un
toward
sistema de
astronomers,
información
and the question is
que es dirigido
about black holes,
y
will
la
be
pregunta
very
es
different
en torno a
and
los
suitable
agujeros
for the
negros.
astronomers
Será
than
muy diferente el contexto para
an
los
information system that is geared for high school students that have the same question about black holes, but require very, very different. Consistent. If you compare it to different sources, it's consistent. Concise. We talked yesterday a little bit about information overload. Is it not overwhelming? Very often users give up, not because they couldn't get right information. They got right information. But they got too much of it. If you get too much of it, users also give up, also if they get too little or not.
Los usuarios serán convencidos con demasiada poca, tanto como con
Now that's the
demasiada.
question of the web age.
Ahora pasamos a la era
You know,
del
users used to
internet.
go to the library physically,
Solían ir físicamente a la
took it off the shelf,
tomaban de un
read it in the library or to the
lo
home.
leían en la biblioteca o
Entonces,
se lo
claro.
llevaban a casa y lo devolvían.
But the access it's very different now.
Ha cambiado.
There is a big difference between accessibility and
La
availability.
diferencia entre asequibilidad y
Today in the web, I can access,
hoy día
but I cannot get.
puedo acceder
So you're looking for both
sin tener que
access,
obtenerlo físicamente.
particularly when it comes to full text
Ambas cosas, el acceso en cuanto
of
a
articles.
completos, artículos completos.
Is it convenient?
Ahora,
Users look very much
los usuarios
inconvenient. Is it
suelen
convenient
lograr
to use?
una conveniencia. Es
Or to perform
conveniente
any actions.
de usar, es conveniente de poder
Security,
actuar sobre
it's not the best term, but I could find better. Are there any restrictions? Well,
habrá restricciones.
I teach online courses.
Yo enseño cursos en línea.
My students
Mis alumnos,
use iMail,
yo los llevo a
Rutgers University Library every
la
week.
biblioteca de la Universidad del Rutgers
Majority
cada
of them
semana.
don't have
La
the
mayoría
slightest idea of where
no
the
tienen la
library is.
menor idea de dónde está la biblioteca.
They would not recognize it if they walked in, but they use it all the time.
Pero
However, Rutgers University Library, like UNAM libraries,
University como las de la UNAM,
have secured licenses to materials. And what Rutgers Library provides to my students and me, what UNAM provides to UNAM members, students, is not what everybody in Mexico or in the United States get. It's not open access. So it becomes, what are the restrictions? Which very often great many.
problemas muy grandes esto de la
And on the other hand, what are the
para
protections?
muchos usuarios. Y por otro
And
lado,
protections for rights
son las
management.
protecciones, protección para la
We all
gestión
have.
de derechos, etc.
Another aspect is
Otro aspecto más
integrity.
es el de la
Here,
integridad.
they're talking about
Y aquí
the adherence
estamos hablando
to ethical
de
principles and other principles
apegarnos a
that have to be
principios
followed
éticos
in the
y
method.
otros principios que se tendrán que seguir en la
Okay, we have finished with information quality, and now we are going to the second part,
La primera parte, la calidad de información, y ahora
and
pasamos
that
a la
is
segunda parte,
quality of information services.
la calidad de los servicios.
And here is where it becomes the biggest difference
Donde vemos
in the
las
network
diferencias
world,
más
in the digital
grandes
world.
en el mundo digital.
The quality of information services is very much linked to usability. And the international standards organization defines usability as extent to which a user can achieve goals with effectiveness, efficiency, and satisfaction in context of use. The key concept here, user, achievement of goals, context of use. Jacob Nielsen is a big presence on the web, and he's known as the guru. Is that a Spanish word for guru? Same word. I speak Spanish again. The guru, oh, it's the The bolding is his, not mine. Usability is a quality attribute that assesses how easy user interfaces are to use. The word usability also refers to the methods for improving ease of use during the design process. Key concept that we have today, not only years, but all systems that provide usability, and that's a good idea. Thank you. You can take a break. It's not good as margarita, but it's the morning is a system or with some other thing. In this case, the light is off. So, the central issue in assessing usability and quality of information services is that we consider to talk about the user. As far as users are concerned, the information should be A, findable, B, understandable, and C, utilizable. Thus, when we talk about information services, in my opinion, they should be built to follow these principles. They should not be built to follow the content of lively holdings, but should be built to follow the principles of the user assessment, usability. That is the major difference between the library services have instituted in brick and mortar libraries and how library services
y
are
los
being
servicios de biblioteca como los estamos encontrando hoy en el mundo digital de la red.
Okay, same as we did before. Metrics, remember we have metrics for
Lo mismo que hemos visto.
quality of information. Now we have metrics for quality of information services. And again divided in 4 categories. One is effectiveness. And when we talk about effectiveness, we really talk about fitness for purpose. Does it do what it claims to do? If you are sitting down, I can sit down. So, right? This one. Effectiveness means fit for purpose. Does it do what it is designed to do? Efficiency is a different concept. It's time, it's cost. Time that you use for learning, for work, for use, something that you can translate into cost. The 4th category is functionality that is provided, such as browsing and searching and work. And the last one is the satisfaction, the user thinking and user feeling. So let's deal with each of them separately. Effectiveness. Effectiveness is a category that deals with achieving the tasks and goals that the user has. Well, one of the measures that have been used is success measures. There are tons of measures. I will only listed them here. How successful were users in finding, understanding, and utilizing information? That could be done on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 to 10, but it could be done also by observation, by recording what the user did. We did a number of studies observing user action. One of the things that puzzles us and still puzzles us, when users go to a library or a library catalog and try to find information, more than half of the users give up in the middle without any results. And we never found out. Why? Because we looked at the logs, we didn't interview the users. So one can expect, I assume, to find out that a lot of users will use it and go no place. Accuracy. What was the precision in the table? How much jump did the user achieve? Completeness. How much did they recall? They need a complete search. How much did they miss? So effectiveness, we are assessing the achieving of tasks, goals of the users themselves. Efficiency, we are also looking at achieving tasks and goals, but from a different perspective. One of the aspects is learning. How much time, cost, and effort did it take the user to learn, to use the resources? We also found out that users are very, very impatient. And if they can't learn something very fast, they give up very fast. I remember a few years ago, I had a conversation with my son, and we just got a new gadget, and I gave him a gadget, I don't know, whatever it was. And he started using it, and I told him, son, there's a manual, why don't you look at the manual? He looked at, the way sons look sometimes as fathers, okay, and we don't use manuals. That generation doesn't use manuals. So what's the use of putting out the manuals? Anyhow, let's go back to the using it. What's the time cost and effort of using it? How much does it cost? How much time in using it? And the completion rate. To what extent were the tasks completed? The third category is functionality. Many information systems have considerable amount of functionality built in, but many have almost nothing. Well, think of the traditional library cabinet. How much functionality does it have? Well, between 0 and 0.1. Because all what you can search is what? You can't search more or less with anything else. The traditional, the catalog is now in museums. Take a look. What are the functionality that many of the systems are providing now? Well, they provide the ability to browse, to find related documents. How is done long before that? He's showing me documents. I'm getting to the time. I'll be done. Let's take this. Anyhow, what features are provided? That's okay. What other features are provided? Links and guides. It's very interesting today that there are a number in English speaking world. There are a number of companies that have provided now features that have not been available to libraries. So my public library provides many more features than my university library. And I can go and click on similar documents. If I want to buy a book, I can get synthesis of the book. If I want to have similar books from the same author or similar books in the genre, I can click on that and get a list of. These are tremendous features. And the public libraries, unlike university libraries, have now a resurgence of use because of these additions. What's the range of outputs that is being provided? The fourth is satisfaction, and we have to use satisfaction features with the process, with the results, with overall experience. You survey the user. This is a slide that summarizes everything that I said so far. And I'm not going to go in details, but basically what it says that we have quality of services and quality of information. When we deal with quality information, we deal with intrinsic aspects, with the context, with representation, and with access. When we deal with services, we deal with effectiveness, with efficiency, with functionality, and with satisfaction. So, what it shows here is that quality is indeed a very complex, multi-dimensional concept that is, if you wanted it to follow, it has great many aspects and it's hard to do. It's not easy to do. So, what we are going to talk very briefly now, I'll get there, is libraries, and especially digital libraries, are complex systems. As I already mentioned, it's not easy to study. There are many methods to study, and many methods for evaluation are quite employable. There is no perfect method. Every single method ever applied has its strengths. Every single method ever applied has its weaknesses. So there is no such thing as the best one. But we also have to realize that there is no agreement among those who study libraries or librarians as to, in any one country and even less around the world, that what methods should be used. What did I do? So here are a list of methods. Most prevalent and the least useful are surveys. The easiest to do, you go and ask them questions. And it gets you some information, but quite limited. Then there are interviews, focus interviews, we talked about it yesterday. Observations, very good to do, and not that easy. Then case studies, then experiments, and so on. Yesterday, we have heard about light qual. That is a popular method used all over the world. It's a suite, a whole suite of services that can be applied. And there are various fees that are charged for these suits, but it also provides training for users. They have 22 core questions. They have tools for relating and analyzing, and as I mentioned, they are bundled with tutorials. And as we heard yesterday, they are used in great many countries. So there is one standardized tool, I stand corrected, that is being widely used. Well, what is it that digital users want from academic libraries? And I extracted this from a report from England that took 12 live studies and came up with a summary. It looks like that in those studies, the users want access to more digital content for all kinds of formats. And I'm looking at myself, and I said, yeah, that's what I want. I don't want access. I want this in all kinds of formats. From print to audio to video to God knows what. I want enhanced functionality. They want enhanced, and I said, yeah, that's what I want. And I particularly want access to full text of articles. And my students are ridiculous that they have to go very often to two steps. One is to find an article in the database such as Scopus or Web of Science, and then to find whether that article is in the library, Rutgers library. Why can't I get it right? We want also enhanced content. We want subject information, summaries, tables of content. Guess who's providing that kind of stuff? Google, not Google, but Amazon. It does provide you table of content. It does provide you for many books. Now, a few pages that you can look at. So that's what I want. That's what users want. I use. Well, we also want as users seamless access to a variety of resources. I already mentioned catalogs. I want different kind of catalogs that have much more than the traditional catalog. And I certainly want more resources from e-journals and other resources. The first presentation that we had, the first team talked about data. Most libraries, when they talk about data, they go, turns out that in the digital world, libraries more and more are getting involved with all kinds of institutions, all kinds of projects in their own institutions that have data. And now they're providing access to that data. So libraries, digital libraries, are becoming also data libraries. And that is becoming, not only that, they are becoming archives. When I retired, they took about 40 boxes of my archives. And the library is going to digitize it and put it online. I don't know why, who's ever going to use it. I simply not. How much time do I have? Can I tell a story? 3 minutes? Oh, I can tell a story. 4 minutes. Everything is, this is education by negotiation. Presentation by negotiation. Anyhow, you know, I did the 40 boxes of my archives, and I looked like 1986, 1987, 1988, 1990. After 1985, there was nothing. I don't exist. Everything that I have is digital. Everything that is digital disappeared because my university changed the system. So I don't exist. After 1995, I don't exist anymore. My emails are gone because they changed 2 systems right at that time. All the documents that I sent electronically are gone. So the digital world and archives becomes now a really big proposition for libraries. And it's not resolved. As I said, after 1985, I don't I'm still here. I'm enjoying it. Anyhow, we want responses to changing user information behavior. We want functions that are more like search engines and popular sites. I want functions in my library that is similar to Amazon. Well, this is the last slide from that same report. I want, and the users want, that the site includes high-quality metadata for searching and for browsing. We want to provide guidance to students and to users, and the big way many libraries now went into electronic education and training. And why not? Let the library advertise its brand. There's nothing wrong with advertising. And its resources to users. There's nothing wrong that the reference library sends around, we got such and such things in the list, and I enjoy that. Well, here is a possible future. There is a. Okay. The possible future is that systems that we are using in language will be going from machine readable and machine searchable, which we have now, to machine understandable. Yesterday we had mention of semantic web, and this is what the semantic web is trying to do. It is possible future that we will have, and we should have, quality metadata. No, metadata that's related to quality, not only to description. It's also the fact that these kinds of stuff, machine understandable and quality related metadata, is completely missing from the web architecture, including the 2.0 web. So far, and for the near future, quality is going to stay a human assessment. And that we can see a future where the machine may assist humans, not make quality, but get maybe through metadata or some other ways, assist humans to do quality assessments. Well, libraries today are in a position that they have never been in history. There's competition. There never was competition to libraries. There's a huge competition. Everybody wants to read information. We are indeed in an information age. We are indeed, I neglected this part of the audience. I'm sorry, I should have. Many other institutions other than libraries are building digital libraries. Societies. Association of Computing Machinery has a digital library that is fantastic. My own society, Society for Information Science and Technology, has a digital library housed in Wiley. ACM houses its own library and its own computers. We house at a publisher. So there are all kinds of libraries that are happening that have nothing to do and not associated with libraries. It's a competition. E-books. E-books are making huge inroads. And great many e-books are not being circulated, are not being done in libraries. My granddaughters are constantly reading e-books. They are downloading God knows where. They're having e-textbooks. And the school library has nothing to do with that. So there is a competition. We should realize that we are in a competitive world and we are not completely used to a competitive world. But the value add, and I mentioned that at the beginning, it's a major component that the libraries do. Major thing that the libraries do that other systems don't is assess the quality. We're coming back to that. But here at the end. Okay, thank you. So, assessing the quality is the basic value that has by library. It's the highest level of value that is added by library. It is not easy to achieve, but it's doable. You know what the problem is? It's not good. It's changing the minds of those who are involved. So on that pessimistic note, I'm going to leave.